Hello, my name is Martina Bex, and I am the founder and owner of the Comprehensible Classroom. In this video, I'm going to be talking to you about the differences between the original Somos curriculum and the Somos Flex curriculum. The Somos curriculum was originally written for Spanish classes. It is available in two levels, Somos 1, which was written for Novice Spanish, and Somos 2, which was written for Intermediate Spanish. We also have some materials available in French as the new Somos curriculum and in Latin as the Somos curriculum. And the ideas that I'm talking about in today's video about different available formats will apply to the units that are available in the French and Latin curriculum as well. But I will be speaking specifically about the Spanish curriculum. Now, the Somos curriculum was originally published beginning in 2011. Originally, it was only available as single units. And then within a few years, we bundled it to be purchased as a complete level. So you can purchase the Somos 1 or the Somos 2 level. Then in 2020, the pandemic, the coronavirus pandemic struck and schools shut down. Teachers that were using the Somos curriculum were left wondering what they could do because the curriculum had been written, as all curriculums ever had been written, for in-person instruction, and there really weren't a lot of options available for teaching it virtually. So we set to work, and for the fall of 2020, we published the Somos Flex Curriculum. The Somos Flex Curriculum is designed to meet the needs of all sorts of instructional settings. So whether you are in person, whether you are online as the teacher, whether you're virtual with your students, if you're in the classroom but your students are virtual, if you have a mixture, if you have a hybrid setting, if your students are learning asynchronously online but not meeting with you in person, or if you have students that are at home and don't have great internet access and just need to have printed materials. Somos Flex is designed to meet all of those needs. And in doing so, we had to make a lot of changes to the original content. Overall, you'll find that the original Somos curriculum and the Somos Flex curriculum work with the same basic content. You will find almost all of the stories from the original Somos curriculum in the Somos Flex curriculum. You'll find a lot of the same activities that have been slightly adapted, but you'll find some things that are in the Somos original but not in Flex, and some things that are available in Flex but not in Somos original. So let's look at that a little bit more closely. What can you expect from each one? There are a lot of similarities between the two formats. As you'll see here, both the Somos original curriculum and the Somos Flex curriculum are a one-time purchase. You can purchase them as individual units. You can purchase them in small bundles, groups of about 5 units at a time, or you can purchase a complete level. So you could purchase Somos 1 original and Somos 2 original. You can purchase Somos 1 Flex and Somos 2 Flex. But no matter how you purchase it, it is a one-time purchase, which makes this an incredible investment, because unlike a textbook that you have to that you purchase once and then eventually it's outdated and you have to buy a new edition, the Somos curriculum, you buy it once and you have that license forever. Any update that we make to that curriculum, you get access to without any additional purchase. So they are both a one-time investment. Each one provides step-by-step lessons. We provide suggested daily lesson plans. The lesson plans not only provide you with instructions of do this first, then this, then this. They are also rich with links and tutorials so that as you work through the materials, whether the Somos original or the Somos Flex, you are learning how to implement the strategies that we are advocating for use with the curriculum. So comprehension-based, proficiency-oriented strategies. You're getting the tutorials in addition to the lesson plans. Both curricula, both formats, are print on demand. So again, different from a traditional textbook where you have a teacher edition of the textbook and you have to buy a student copy of each one. The Somos curriculum is print on demand. So all student printables, you get a digital copy of everything. You get digital lesson plans, digital printables, and you just print them as you need them. Or in the case of Somos Flex especially, you may not be printing them. You may be sending out paperless activities to do with your students. Now, We have found that some school districts prefer to print all student materials ahead of time and create student workbooks for their students that will be using the Somos curriculum. And we are happy to work with districts on doing that. We have a printing partner that we work with to design custom workbooks that will meet the needs of your particular school and how many units you want to get through. But either way, print on demand. So you aren't buying student copies of the materials. The student copies are included and you just print them as you need them. Somos Flex is virtual and hybrid ready. That is the big difference. In the original Somos curriculum, we included a lot of activities that don't really translate well into a virtual setting. So a lot of interactive activities where students are moving around the room and talking to each other. There's a lot of activities where the students might be cutting up cards, or you might have a pre-made set of cards cut up for them, and students are sharing materials. And so in the pandemic setting, when all of those things were taken into account, like social distancing, not sharing materials, not moving around the classroom, all of those activities were stripped out for the Somos curriculum, for the Somos Flex curriculum. And in their place, we put in activities that were ready to go in paperless format. So Google Slides activities where students can type their answers right in the forms instead of having to print it out and write down their answers. Even coloring pages that are fully digital. Everything with Flex, every activity is provided so that you can share it with classroom learners printed, or so that you can share it with virtual learners. The Somos Flex curriculum is fully editable. Now, the original Somos curriculum, most of the units come with a set of lesson plans, and the lesson plans document is a PDF that includes all of your instructions for the teacher, and it includes all the Somos, the student printables, and that is not editable. That is a fixed PDF. It also comes with a slideshow that includes that in Google Slides that has daily warm-ups, and it has all of the readings. That is editable. In the Somos Flex curriculum, everything is editable. So that when you get the lesson plans document, it's actually in Google Slides with a page size. You can change anything. So if there is a reading that you like, but you would like to substitute in some different words, or if you'd like to make it more simple or more complex for your students, you can change that in Flex, but you can't change it easily in the Somos original curriculum. So the Flex gives you a lot more flexibility as an instructor in modifying the materials to really meet the needs of your students. Somos Original includes a lot more authentic resources. So one thing that we found as we prepared for teaching in virtual settings, some of our favorite authentic resources are audio and video, and those really can cause a lot of problems for virtual settings. So first of all, if you have learners at home that are not able to access the internet, they are not going to be able to work with those materials. Streaming videos can be really problematic for individuals with poor internet connection, like me. And so we tried to just avoid those altogether or look for ways to substitute them. So for that reason, we really don't use a lot of authentic resources in the Somos Flex curriculum, but we do include many authentic resources and authentic resource-based activities and lessons in the Somos original curriculum. Both curricula are content-based, so they are both using the language to learn about students, to learn about the world, and they are not focused on learning the language explicitly. So students aren't learning about the Spanish language. They are using the Spanish language to communicate about themselves, about each other, and about the world. Now, both formats of the curriculum, the Somos original curriculum and the Somos Flex curriculum, come with step-by-step suggested lesson plans for each day. So in the original curriculum, you have very detailed lesson plans that include, as I said, not only what you need to do with your students or what you could do with your students, they're suggestions after all, but also instructions for how to do them if you're new to this. And those include links to blog posts for more information. There's full page written out instructions for activities. So incredibly detailed step-by-step lesson plans. All the plans in the original curriculum, though, are written for students that are in the classroom. The Flex daily lesson plans, as you'll see here, include instructions for different instructional formats. So every day it will say what you as the teacher need to be doing for each activity. Then it will say what students who are in the physical classroom should be doing in response to whatever you're leading in the classroom. It will also say how live stream and synchronous virtual learners would engage with whatever you are doing. And then there is a track here. There are suggestions for asynchronous virtual learners. So these are your kids that are at home, but they are not meeting with you in real time. And then finally, there are suggestions for learners who are at home and do not have good internet access, and so who really just need printed materials, what they should complete. And while a lot of teachers this year have been using a combination of the in-classroom and synchronous virtual lesson plans for their hybrid models, what we are anticipating is that moving forward, as school returns to normal and most students are returning to the classroom, that teachers will be able to use these asynchronous virtual lessons and the print materials for students who are absent or who join the classroom late, and especially for those long-term absences. You know, if you have students that say, I'm going to visit family in another state or in another country for a month, give me some material. You can send them with either the virtual materials that they can complete on their own asynchronously or the print materials. Each of these lesson plans were written with about 50-minute lesson, 50-minute class periods in mind. What we have found is that in general, the original curriculum plans take up more time than they are planned for. So if we say they are written for 50-minute class periods, many teachers will extend that to a class period and a half or even 2 class periods. And that is because there are a lot more opportunities in the original curriculum for personalization and for conversation, because you are in a community, physically present with all of your students in one space. The Flex curriculum has a lot more content because it is harder to create those connections and to spark a conversation when you are not all together, when you're in those virtual settings. So we have found that while teachers often take up, the lesson plans often fill up more time for the original Flex curriculum, for the original Somos curriculum, pardon me, in the Flex curriculum, we found that some teachers, it might not quite fill up 50 minutes. And we did keep in mind here that, especially when you're teaching in a virtual setting, there's a lot of lost time for just waiting students to join a meeting, transitioning whenever students have to open up a file, waiting for them to be ready. And so these are probably, in general, a little bit less than 50, and these would fill more than 50, but they're both written with about the same amount of time in mind. Both formats contain unit overviews per unit. The original curriculum is a lot more detailed. It includes essential questions. It includes proficiency targets as well as can-do statements. The Flex unit overviews are much more simplified. You can pull most of this information will apply to the Flex units as well. Most of the essential questions and the cultural information. But here you're going to just see a general overview of what does it look like for students who are in the classroom, and what does it look like for students that are not in the classroom. Those are included in each unit. Both curricula, both formats contain student printables. So whether it's the original curriculum or the Flex curriculum, you have printables that you can send to your students or print ahead of time in a workbook if you need. In Flex, there is a paperless format of every printable worksheet. The original curriculum does not come ready to go with paperless fillable printables. Both curricula are updated regularly, and this, again, with it being a one-time purchase, this is one of the biggest advantages to purchasing the Somos curriculum over a more traditional textbook curriculum. We are updating them all the time. And so when you purchase these curricula, you are also purchasing our team's time. And we have a large number of teachers now, teachers and former teachers that work on the curriculum. We are not only fixing mistakes that we find, small typos, or if there are any formatting problems, we are also constantly expanding and making better, improving the materials. So as we continue to learn how to do teaching better, both in terms of teaching language and also teaching culture, all of those changes are being applied to the curriculum. So this last year, of course, we just published the Flex curriculum, and even so, still, we have already made a lot of updates to it. In writing the Flex curriculum, we've also changed a lot of things that we're going to be adding, that we're going to be applying to the original curriculum. So some of our cultural readings, we have completely rewritten for Flex. And in the coming months, we're going to be applying those changes to the original curriculum. Once you have purchased the curriculum, you get access to all of the changes to the most recent version forever at no additional cost. And we do keep this master update log that you can always go in and check and see what updates have been made. Everything is dated so that you can see if it was updated since you last taught it. If you purchase the materials through Teachers Pay Teachers, you also can set it up so you get a notification whenever we make an update. So please check that update log regularly. Another way to look at to compare the two curriculum is which has more. So as I said before, the Somos curriculum has more authentic resources. It has more personalization. So conversation is a big focus of the original curriculum, whereas in the Flex curriculum, there's a lot of personalized questions, but we weren't really expecting teachers to engage with learners when a lot of learners had their cameras off and their microphones off. You can ask a question and get a 1 or 2 word response, but it rarely was going to turn into a big conversation. So the original curriculum is much more personalized. There's a lot more movement in the original curriculum. The Flex curriculum, one thing that really sets it apart is it's much more structured. The original Somos curriculum, some of the units are 5 days long, some of the units are 10 days long, some of the units are 14 days long. The Somos Flex curriculum, almost without exception, every unit is 7 days long with an assessment available for the 8th day. And it follows the same exact pattern. So if you are someone who is really overwhelmed thinking about trying something new, Somos Flex might be an easier transition into the comprehension-based way of teaching, because you know what to expect with every unit. We did this intentionally because teaching online and attending class online is a huge learning curve. And every time that you introduce a new technology tool or a new activity, students and teacher have to figure that out. And because of all the problems that technology can cause, internet outages and slow internet, all of those things, we wanted to keep it really simple so that the focus could really be on engaging with the content, not on figuring out the activity. In a traditional classroom, in the original Somos curriculum, we include a much wider variety of activities, and we tried to mix up the activities from unit to unit so that it never feels like you've gotten into a boring rhythm and students really know what to expect. And that really is a way to keep students engaged, and we really value that about the original curriculum. However, with the Flex curriculum, we realized that to meet the needs of the hybrid classroom, it was better to just keep it really structured. So depending on your personal level of comfort and your teaching context, it may be better to not have it be so structured and predictable, or you may prefer to have that structured format. Somos Flex does have more stories. While there are more authentic resources and kind of small extensions and interactive activities in the original curriculum, because we pulled that out, we had to back off on that for the Flex curriculum, we brought in more actual texts and stories to start from for the Flex curriculum. So if you are looking for ways to expand, if you're using the original curriculum and you're looking for ways to expand a unit, to spend more time working on something, then pulling stories from the Flex curriculum can be a great way to do that. There's much more variety in Somos Original, as I said, and Somos Flex is more customizable, not only because the entire thing is editable, but also because there are options provided for classroom, synchronous, and asynchronous learners and print packets for every activity. All of the stories in both curricula are available on Garbanzo. Garbanzo is a web application that's founded by the Comprehensible Classroom. All of the stories, all of the informational texts in both the original and the Flex version of our curriculum are on Garbanzo. That is a separate subscription, and those are there in addition to many other readings. So currently there are about 1,000 different texts on Garbanzo, and no matter what you are teaching, you can find those lessons on Garbanzo. A few things that really make Flex unique and that are leading teachers to purchase Flex in addition to the original curriculum, even though they're planning on returning to the classroom full-time, to in-classroom, in-person instruction full-time for the fall of 2021, are the print packet, an audio file, and a story builder. Now, the print packet is designed for those learners who are at home without great internet access, so that you can just print it and hand it to them and collect it at the end of the unit. However, this print packet is going to be a great option for you to use for any students that are absent. So every print packet is going to contain at least 14 worksheets. There's 2 worksheets per day of the unit because each Flex unit is 7 days long. So you get at least 14 worksheets, at least 5 texts in there. And so this is a really good option for you to share with your students that are going to be absent for some or part of a unit, and also to share with students that join your class late or students that are looking to go beyond what you might be doing with the original curriculum. Every unit also contains 1 audio file recorded by a native speaker. So this is a really good option for you, especially if you aren't a native speaker of Spanish, but even if you are, for your students to hear another voice. Now, if you have a Garbanzo subscription, all of our stories have or will have audio available at the premium subscription level. So that's another option for hearing audio, but at least with the Flex unit, you can get 1 audio file that's already pre-recorded. Each Flex unit also comes with a Storybuilder presentation. The Storybuilder presentation is based on the TPRS, Teaching Proficiency Through Reading and Storytelling story script from the original curriculum. If you do not like story asking, which is kind of a core piece of the Somos curriculum, many teachers are finding that using this Storybuilder with their classes, which is essentially a choose your own adventure style PowerPoint presentation where students are creating a story based on options that they're presented with during the unit. So it's a story that's written out in Spanish, and there are many different storylines that students could follow based on the choices that they make throughout the story. So these are available with every Flex unit. What we are recommending, your best option is really going to be to purchase both, keeping in mind, again, that this is a one-time purchase. So while it's a price tag that might make you think twice, you have to remember you are not purchasing student editions of textbooks. You are not having to purchase a new edition of a textbook every few years. This is a one-time purchase that gives you all of the materials that you need forever, and it will continue to be updated. So we are recommending that teachers plan from the original curriculum. So purchase the original curriculum and plan from that, and then supplement from Flex. And we are working, again, one of those updates that we're doing, we're working on updating all of our original lesson plans, on rewriting the daily lesson plans so that they include suggestions about what you can pull from Flex. So we want to make it really easy for you to know what there is available between the two. If you don't have the Flex format of the curriculum as well, you can just ignore this. But if you do have it, the instructions are there for you to know that, hey, this story is also available in the Flex curriculum, and this game is available for it that isn't in the original curriculum, that sort of thing. So overall, you're looking at the same basic content, but provided in 2 different formats. We recommend planning from getting both if you can, planning from the original, supplementing from Flex. If you have questions, and we know you will, you're welcome to ask them in the Somos Curriculum Collaboration Group, which is on Facebook. You can just search Facebook for Somos Curriculum Collaboration and you'll find it. Or you can email info@comprehensibleclassroom.com. And while we are making our recommendation to work from original, we realize that each one of you is in a very different teaching context. You have a different level of experience and comfort level coming in. And we're really, really happy to support you in making the choice that's going to be that's going to make the most sense for your particular situation. So we look forward to hearing from you and learning with you.